from Switzerland, which is a new network state concept. It started with Zuzalu, but now it's a different version here in Switzerland in the mountains. We are having great discussions about the future of crypto, future of AI, and what can be even better than like bring other projects here in Switzerland and also live to you on Twitter and YouTube and wherever you watch, because we are also part of the Quadratic Accelerator, or shortly QAC, which is incubating new projects, helping them launch their own token. So basically helping them launch a DAO in a sense. And you know me, I'm Punkar from How to DAO. So we are all about DAOs and a DAO adoption. So this is a great cooperation we are having right here. And what I would like to first and who I would like to first introduce is Justice, one of the co-founder of QAG, who will actually introduce himself, but also present the QAG. So welcome everyone and welcome Justice. Can you tell us a little bit more about QAG and what it's about?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Punkar, for putting this on and for the teams that could join us. QAC is a reimagining of token launches that replaces, the VC-centric experience we've seen thus far. We take token launches and we've turned it into a DeFi primitive. So the price of tokens, the supply of tokens, distribution of tokens is determined by a smart contract, money robot. And so we built on the science of primary issuance bonding curves, token bonding curves that were developed all the way back when the ERC20 standard was being worked on by Simon de la Verrier. And he's gonna kill me. And Michael Zargum, the augmented bonding curve. And so we took all this kind of super heady, deep science and was like, we're going to make token launches great again. And we think this is exciting is because we've seen like the meme coin thing happened, and we think that's kind of an example of like the casino. And also we've seen like the culture wars that were like, hey, where's the support for real projects? And we're like, that's the gap we want to fill. Tokenization for real projects. We operate in seasons, and we have with us 4 of the projects that are launching in this season. And so that's what we're doing. This round was sponsored by Polygon, and so all these teams got a credibly neutral, fair token launch sponsored by Polygon. And the round ends on Monday. So excited to hear from the teams. And I wonder if Griff, Tam, you guys want to say anything? The co-founders of QAC.
I can add just a little bit. QAC is solving 2 big problems for 2 different audiences. Number one, we're fixing grant programs for teams, for ecosystems. So when an ecosystem wants to give a grant out to a team, they want them to be committed to that ecosystem. They want them to, have all the upside. They want to see them grow and have the potential. And we do that using tokenization, the Web3 way. And this is, I think this really builds a lot of trust between the ecosystems and the teams. And it's a really interesting dynamic. The other thing we fix is bonding curve launchpads. Bonding curve launchpads for launching tokens are full scams, honestly. It's just all scams all the time. And then maybe once in a while you get a real project coming in. And there's a reason for that. The dynamic is so PvP. It's like, oh, got to get in first. First person in gets the best price. Next person in gets a worse price. It's not really a nice way to launch a token. And so we make QAC a nice way to launch a token on a bonding curve with a fair launch process that actually bootstraps liquidity for the team and allows everyone who participates to get the lowest possible price and prove that they're part of the community because they actually get locked tokens, right? And then you still get the crazy PvP speculation after the real community who believes in these projects gets in. And that's what makes it so great, because the community gets a better price than the speculators. And I think that's the key differential between us and basically every other bonding curve launchpad.
That's
Tim, do you
awesome.
have anything to add?
I'm going to add something too. You guys are so great. I almost have nothing to add, but just as one more thing. And it's just this word disintermediation. And this is the name of my game is disintermediation. It means startups, real startups, are launching tokens, and the first people who get access to these tokens are not the VCs, are not insiders, are not, they are anyone in the public. And I think that's what matters most to me, and that's why I'm here. I'll pass it back to you, Pankar.
Yeah, no, and it's awesome. Thank you for adding that, Tam. And that's why we are here as well, because we want to offer this like access, this membership first to our community, who was with us last 3 years when we were writing the How to DAO book. Like, we want everyone basically be on the same page. Like, come and build it with it us. Like, this is the chance to get in the, How to DAO and other projects. So How to DAO is one project in the QAG, but there is other projects in this cohort, three more projects in this cohort. There is more projects from the season one, so there is more projects you can actually join. And we really love that approach of getting the community first and then get on the market. So, I think this is a great primitive. And people already know a little bit about How to DAO, so I maybe push it a little bit to the back of the live stream. But what was really exciting is that there is not just like purely crypto projects. Like, there is projects which are like have like art in it or AI as well. And like, I think the great representation of it's Ellie, who is founder of To the Moon, which is a basically content creation which you can influence as a person, and then AI can generate it, which is, I think, super cool. Because if I feel like, think about like DAO governance, like I'm influencing what the DAO should be doing, and then like people executing it, and that's a work. But now this concept of like, I'm kind of voting, but then AI, it's actually generating some entertainment for me, and I can influence like how the show is getting created, who will marry who, and who will break up with who. So I think this is super exciting, but probably Ellie has more to say about it. So Ellie, like, do you want to say a little bit more about your project, because I think it's super cool.
Thank you, thank you. Hey everyone, I can't see you, but hello. My name's Ellie. I'm the founder of To the Moon. So, like Pankar said, we're building AI generated TV shows and then launching To the Moon as our first show. The story setting is basically six crypto inspired characters trying to launch a new L2 nobody asked for. And then there will be drama, chaos, love triangles, a lot of chaotic things happening in the next 30 days. And then we're already at day 9. We launched on April 29th and saw a lot of people already watching the show. So what's cool about it is we basically put the characters, in this crypto city setting, and then just let AI write the story and completely let the characters interact with each other, develop their own stories. So as audience, the way to interact with these type of AI generated content is you don't just watch, you actually follow along and predict what's going to happen in the next episode. Because it's AI generated, no human beings will know what happens next, right? So it adds the unpredictability, makes it fun for you to follow along the storyline. And then what's cool about the token side is we'll have a TDM token for this show, and all the token holders, you get to participate more in the story. So not only do you get to predict what happens next, holding the tokens give you the power to influence the narrative. You can launch campaigns and influence how the story goes next. So that sort of gives you an extra boost to in the community to influence story arcs, and then vote on what characters we bring onto the show. A lot of the cool things that we are combining with the token side and then the DAO structure to really set this new primitive for AI generated content, and how how we human beings interact with these type of AI generated content.
I think it's amazing how, DAOs can create entertainment, or how we are using basically the DAO primitives for not just like creating organizations, but creating like a TV show. It's such a cool thing. Well, Ellie, what you are the most excited about in this new TV show? Like, what you are expecting might happen?
Um, so well, I think the story, like I've been following the story. I'm like personally emotionally invested at this point. Like yesterday, the six characters. One of them is a degen trader. He launched a meme coin. It hit like 50 million market cap. And then 2 days ago, he crashed the market. So, it's interesting to follow a story that it's written by AI, but you still get personally invested in it. And just the fact that we got over 6,000 people watching with us in the last 8 days, it shows the power of this kind of AI generated content. And then we got over 20,000 predictions, whether through votings or participating in prediction markets. So we see the power of what happens when a community of people uh, you know invest in a storyline together, and just think about through a DAO structure. If everyone gets a say in this type of stories, and you can think like we're sort of decentralizing Hollywood. Everyone gets to participate in writing a script and then co-creating a cool story that everyone loves. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this QAC round goes, and in season 2, season 3 of this story, how these characters evolve, and we'll add more characters and experiment with different types of format. Right now it's 30 minutes per episode, but we want to be more optimized for TikTok, those short form optimized platforms to get more eyeballs on the show.
That's awesome. And like, everyone has their own opinion, but eventually AI basically decides what the plot and the story will be. I'm thinking if that can be implemented in like organizations, like, everyone will have their own say, but then we basically rely on AI how it's implement the plan. Justice, great for them. What you are the most excited about, like within like Ellie's project?
I'll say real quick, like the original dream of DAOs, was the part of the inspiration was the Demon series for Vitalik. This idea of like an autonomous software system, and in a way, even though we kind of wanted it to be that way, it turned into kind of a kind of be some not great version of some democracy, right? You're like, this isn't like a live AI. This is feels more like politics. And it's crazy that we have a creator now who is a creator of this narrative and this system and doesn't know what's going to happen. It touches back on that feeling of like autonomy, like the thing is alive and you don't know which way it's going to turn. And the fact that you can vote to change and influence a story arc, freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and then I think it's a great testing also for AI. We start with the entertainment, which some of the DAO governance structures also is very entertaining to watch the mess on the forum, but this is definitely better because it's a purposefully entertainment. But we need to also make sure that DAOs are safe. Uh, so I believe there is a project here in the QA round who will help us to actually, safeguard our assets and, make it more convenient to actually use some of the, let's say, safer ways of holding crypto assets. Derek, do you know something about that?
Yes, yes, actually, I have a few thoughts myself. Yeah, so Gridlock, I'm the founder of Gridlock, and we've been making crypto safe and easy for everyone and anyone, not just crypto natives. And it's our lifeblood. It's everything we focus on. The whole idea behind Gridlock, right? It's a grid of devices that lock your crypto. It's distributed storage. What that means is there's no seed phrase. There's no single point of failure. This is what makes crypto easy and accessible to anyone, and that's what Gridlock is. We're super happy to be part of this cohort. We're excited for our future. We want to be the single storage layer for all crypto, all blockchains, all users. Because while all this technology is cool, these DAOs are great and they're changing the world, you still need easy access for that safe storage. And that's where we come in. We're the foundation, the infrastructure layer that's helping you all build these amazing products.
That's awesome. Thank you, Derek. And I definitely sympathize with that approach because, if we don't have the assets stored safely and conveniently, like first, if it's not safe, well, that's hard because someone will take them. And if it's not convenient, people will just avoid to even enter the crypto at the first place. So thank you for doing that. Like also like in terms of like the QAC, like how we are kind of positioning this solution and like getting the token out there and like how it is all like playing together with the gridlock solution. So why people should basically join.
So yeah, so Gridlock is out there now, open source, free forever. But then it gets better. We have additional features with Gridlock Pro, and simply having the coin gives you access to that. But that's just the first step because the foundation is really rewarding people for making the network stronger, right? So you can be a guardian, and simply by being a guardian, you're getting rewarded in lock token. We're even pushing hard. The first 25 guardians are getting 1,000 lock token a month for the first year, just for signing up and registering. And that's huge because we believe in this product where people are helping people, social recovery, where you don't have to worry about losing access to your wallet. I just saw today $45 million stolen in the past week from Coinbase. Centralized exchanges are not safe. Social engineering is a big problem, and social recovery protects you exactly from that. And so this is the technology that we're making crypto extremely easy, building on the back of this lock token that rewards you for making the network stronger. Simply by having it, you get access to even better services, better features, and we're really excited about it.
That's cool. So we are basically guarding each other wallets, if I understand it correctly, which I think is the best. Like, if you build the trust for people around you, it's great on its own. And if you can basically also build solution around it that like you can protect your own money with people, you don't need to trust like, some banker that
Exactly. Yeah.
you
Self
put.
custody, people helping people. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and it's and here at Switzerland, like the big topic is sovereignty, and like this is basically what it means. Like we need to have sovereign financial system. We need to have sovereign solutions, which are gardening this financial system. Like if we are having crypto as a sovereign financial system, but then you know uh, centralized exchanges basically holding all the assets, like where the sovereignty comes from. They are bound by their shareholders in United States or somewhere else, and it can just go down very quickly and very bad. Like maybe this is like a question to you, Griff. Like you've been in the space for a while. I think like sovereignty is also a big topic for you. Like how you see this kind of like solutions which are actually powered by people, and what's the importance?
I mean, it's critical. It's not just 45 million from Coinbase. It's 25 million this year already from just normal users getting phished, having all these problems. Wallets are not built to actually be safe. Not very many of them. Gridlock being one of the exceptions. Most of them are built to be secure, but they don't help you in a lot of the attacks. And crypto is a very dangerous place. There are full on multi-million dollar industry. Scamming in crypto is a multi-million dollar industry. People are targeting everyone. Coinbase support is like a nonstop phone call to basically anybody who they can get their phone number on. And I was actually staying, I mean, funny story. I was staying at this woman's house in San Francisco. She lent us her house because while we're kind of like Airbnb almost, and she had a How to DAO book on her shelf, but she also unfortunately was called by Coinbase support a week before we got there and was exploited for $16,000. They convinced her to put a seed phrase in a website and then move all her money there. And it's like we need more tools to protect ourselves. Sovereignty is important, but I kind of see there as like a wallet trilemma, and where you have safety, usability, and functionality. Uh, kind of all in all these places, and you can place your wallet where you want it, and not enough people are kind of placing it in the safety side of the category. We need more people bringing wallets into the space that are safer for normal people to use, and Gridlock is one of the few projects in the space that I see doing it. And it's what's crazy is that you can actually show your support and get upside in Gridlock by just throwing some tokens at them in the QAC round, and then you're supporting safety in the space. You're actually getting upside in a startup at like insanely low valuation. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like, safety is important. We know that the use case works, so it's basically a no-brainer. But like, safety needs to be matched with convenience. And I think like investing in crypto and like, making some trades like can be not that easy, or like you don't actually know how to do it. And I used to work for a protocol called Index Corp, and we were all about basically making kind of like this ETFs for crypto. But it was there were some like maybe higher fees, or it was back then it was maybe not the best product market fit. They are still around, but I think there is a better solution these days. I think it's called like Web3 packs or something. Mango, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thanks so much for the introduction. I'll start by saying, I hope I don't come off as, too dusty in the eyes. It's about 4 in the morning here in New Zealand. Working in an international space.
Thanks for the commitment to the
Yeah,
space.
we're really happy to be here, and thank you so much for putting this together. Um, one of the things that we see as a major uh, hurdle in the space is people onboarding. And I've had so many of my friends, and maybe you too, who have said like, I'm interested in getting started in crypto. I wish I had started in Bitcoin 10 years ago. But like, where do I begin? Like, what tokens should I buy? And now there's thousands of tokens across dozens of blockchains, and that's not even to like talk about like DeFi, in terms of like liquidity pools and yield bearing assets and all of these sorts of digital products. It's just like a kind of a nightmare for people to imagine starting. Like where do I go? Who do I trust? How much time does it take? And so we're looking to streamline that process. And you mentioned ETFs. Historically, in traditional finance and in blockchain up till today, ETFs have really been like, you have here's your single token that represents your share in a centralized pool of assets. And we really believe in the mission of not only decentralization but self sovereignty, and this sort of like really like fully owning all of your assets. And so you can imagine now like a backpack full of all of the things you need to get started in crypto, whether it's stable coins or your favorite meme coins or your favorite AI tokens or your favorite real world assets. Whatever you need to get started in an ecosystem, you can buy in one click. Instead of like what would be maybe 60 transactions, and dozens of hours managing a portfolio of things across these different platforms, we can now like simplify into like a streamlined sort of process. So when grandma wants to like get invested in crypto because she realized like she doesn't get it, but she wants to be a part of it, this is the sort of the tool for her, to get involved in this decentralized economy in a really like straightforward way, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Okay, I will tell my grandma that she should invest in the crypto through Web3 packs.
Sure.
She's already on Facebook, so I think that
Yeah.
would be basically like, one click away.
Right.
So that's super cool. No, and I like that because like, I think this is also important, like having more convenient access to these kind of primitives. I'm actually not sure, like, do you think there will be some Web3 pack also for like QAC round?
Sure. There's a really like no limit to what kind of um, groups of tokens you bring together, and that's what we love about it, because like rising tides lift all ships, and so when you've got a cohort of projects, or you've got an ecosystem of things working together, when everyone is buying these packs, and it kind of like stabilizes the value of all of them to each other. It's more of a cooperative vision of growth, rather than a competitive one. And that's something that we think is important. Looking at just the blockchain space in general is not about like cutting each other down, but working together to lift each other up. And so it's kind of built into the product model in that way.
Yeah, definitely. And there will be opportunities soon to do the peg, because soon I think the all the tokens will be live on the dexes. And we have actually a live stream also after this one with Quipsop and Polygon. They're talking about more about how we are actually in the Polygon ecosystem, how we are going to launch on a QuickSwap. So Tam, do you want to maybe give us a little teaser what will be the next live stream about?
Yeah, absolutely. It is on X Spaces. So please join. You could either find the link through the QAC at the QAC Twitter account, QuickSwap, and as you said, Polygon, and we are co-hosting it. Justice is going to be MC, and we have a number of our founders coming to talk about not just their projects and their tokens and their own origin stories, but also mechanisms of QAC and why fair launches is so important in a sea of crime and casino.
Super cool, and we are looking forward to that. It will be long live streams, but it will be fun. So if you are already on Twitter and you're watching this on Twitter, just stay on. And we started with entertainment, and let's continue with some other entertainment, because Andre, if you are here, I think another project in the QA round was about music and invest in the music. And I believe you already have something live to invest in some Ukrainian artists, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
can you tell us more about the project and also about the first artist?
We are a platform for our independent artists, and statistically, there are over 30 millions of them, most of them with small but devoted fan bases, like from few hundreds to few thousands. And fans of these artists are willing to help them, but they cannot do it through Spotify because their Spotify subscription will be redirected to other artists, those who sign to big labels. And we are for them for support of their favorite artists who are small at the moment, but hopefully will be famous in some time, and we give them a chance to be in business with their favorite artists. So they are not just buying merch and tickets to their shows, but they also have an opportunity to invest in their favorite songs' future income, which we call royalties, music royalties. This is coming from monetization of music. Each song is an asset. Some songs are great assets, like Despacito song, which generated over $500 million in first 3 years. So imagine you would have bought 1% of royalties in this song back in 2017. So we are a platform for fans, for independent artists, and for investors in music IP rights, who are not regular investors. Mostly they are investors who are looking for new assets, and we are exactly a new asset for them. And we have built a first MVP with first simple auction It's now on mainnet, and we are testing it. We are not promoting this auction because we want everything to be very much seamless for our future users. So anyone can join, everyone is welcome, but we are not putting marketing campaign behind this auction. But we already have in mind the next auction after this will be over, and we will be sure that everything works. And I want to say a few words about a DAO, abbreviation which I'm familiar with, not a long time, but it seems to be very important for Melodex. Once we've been asked what differs Melodex from JukiX, which is Web 2 version of Melodex platform. And I couldn't answer at that moment. I was saying, well, it's a different technology, but that was not the answer to the question. And it took me 24 hours to understand and get familiar with DAO abbreviation, because that's exactly what differs Melodex from Web 2 version of Melodex. So in Web 2 version, you can own royalty rights in particular song, and that's it. So you can receive passive income, you can sell, trade these rights on JukiX secondary market, but that's it. With Melodex, we create a pool of royalties from all songs which ever gone through the auction. So that's kind of community catalog of community label. So Mels embody your right to participate in this pool, which becoming bigger and bigger after every auction. And portion of royalties from any song goes to this pool. So participating in this pool, you participate in income of the whole community label. And a very important issue rises how to organize the governance of this community label. So in fact, this label is DAO, and I want to learn more about how it operates and what opportunities it's open.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like that you are basically getting like the pool as a DAO treasury, and then like it gets distributed or used, and also like you are supporting new artists with your platform, which I think is super important because like uh music, in your case music, it's something which it's not great business till it is, and we don't have a ways to support early artists where we will go from here. So I think that's a great thing what you are doing there, Andre.
Thank you
So
so much.
of course. So to get a little bit back into QAC, because that's why we are here. So Justice, QAC and DAOs, it's like I would say it's very interconnected. So how you think like QAC in general, it's supporting basically the creation of new businesses, new DAOs, and what do you see the future for supporting small and medium businesses to basically be tokenized, and how it's all play out?
I'll say a few things. One, we're really focused on playbooks for tokenizing, software as a service, like traditional software startups, like not necessarily dApps, like that's of course that's the traditional path, but several products have come out that use their token at a different place in their user funnel. X23 is a great example where there's X23 is a project that came through QAC in season 1, and they're like an AI agent assistant for DAO delegates, right? It's a DAO delegate like console. It's very cool, and so you can pay a subscription, or you can stake their token to get advanced features and bypass the subscription. Voorhees did something very similar with Venice AI. And so, like, when we talk about onboarding the masses, it's not just like, you don't know anything about crypto. Get this wallet, you're going to lose the keys of, and then lose access to your money. Shout out Gridlock. Like, or go buy all these tokens and spend this money, and you make one mistake and you're screwed. Like, just get one backpack, Mango, right? And you know, that's not the way to onboard a new user. It's a huge friction gap. You want to take people who are already want to pay for your service and then take them deeper into your funnel with having them use the token, right? And so the answer to the question is, we want to focus on real startups, working on a small book like right now called Tokenization for Startups, right? Like, what does that look like? And then also, when we transform the TGE event from what it was, like the trad token generation event, this is how futuristic we are. We call token launches trad now. Okay. When you translate that old school kind of, what's the pie chart look like, put it in a spreadsheet, these guys should get 10%, let's do that. When you translate all that to a DeFi primitive that's deterministic and works in a very specific way on chain that's trustless, suddenly you make the whole tokenization thing totally compatible and composable with DAO systems. There's nothing preventing any of the teams to coming through QAC to say, hey, we want like X% of the token generation event will, someone mute, I'm hearing myself a lot. It could go into a DAO governance contract. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'll close up with that.
Sorry, I don't know if it's me. Hopefully not, because I can actually turn off my microphone. But this is cool. Like, I think like how QX is actually supporting tokenization in a very like business model way. As I understand it, like, this is not just having token out of nowhere. This is not like you have token and no utility for it. Like, like we have this token, we have no idea why, but like, we just did it. It's more like, we have the playbook. This can support the SaaS business model, which is like here for, I don't know, 20 years basically, and now it can get even better. And you can be part of it, which is super cool. And Justice and I met in DAO like 4 years ago or something like that, and since then we were bullish on this future, and we are still continuing building it up. So like, what I will have like a call to action: join us. This future is coming, and we are still working on it, and it will be super cool. On that note, like, when you are thinking about your project as a DAO, and this is like kind of open question to all the projects which are within QAC, like, where you see the advantage coming for you.
I, I,
I don't know,
I suppose
Derek,
I could.
Mango.
Yeah, after you. Oh,
Go for it, Mango.
okay. I thought I heard some feedback, but I think I'm hearing myself back on your microphone. If you wouldn't mind muting. Uh, awesome. Yeah, I would love to speak to the DAO side of things. We've been fortunate enough to be building as a team together for about 5 years now. Although the product that we're here with the QAC incubator accelerator is a newer feature. We've been building the underlying technology for about 5 years, and so we've had experience being a DAO for that time. And it's really been like through the first NFT wave, and now into this kind of next chapter of blockchain. It's been really kind of lovely to see people who care about a project really like get involved in the decision making. And we see sort of for ourselves like a multi-token model where we've come from a DAO governance token, and the token that we're releasing now with the QAC program being more about functionality within the product, and so trying to kind of separate those things, like where governance is one function and utility within the product is another function of a token. Because we found that in the last handful of years that if you're trying to get a token to do governance and functionality, that it can get maybe a little bit confused, and that governance itself is an important feature of people's involvement in the growth of technology. But the sort of incentive mechanisms that you see from using a token to give advanced features or give early access or these sorts of things are they're really different sorts of jobs that the token can fulfill. And so like looking forward, the token that we're pushing forward for this Web3 PAX project will really let people use our product in a more advanced sort of way, but governance as really a separate identity, and something to encourage people to be involved in, and maybe also I would say that kind of governing things it can be kind of boring, like making decisions is not the most sexy part of being involved in a community. And so I would love to see governance being like incentivized more, where people that do participate in the decision making really get higher sort of stature or influence within that community, or a greater return from that product, because they care so much about it.
Governance is not the most exciting thing we are doing. And I like how you, Mango, said like we are this basically the token can be either used for the organization part, or like in this case, like can be more used like as a utility of the product, which is super cool as well. Like we are actually implementing the token, which is working within the product and powering it, making it better. And we have some questions here from the audience here in Switzerland. Uh, what I would start with, I will actually start with this one. So we also have a co-working space, which is basically a coffee shop. So really like a brick and mortar type of business. And the question here is, what question should like a brick and mortar business be thinking about DAOs? So if like maybe some like brick and mortar, like a coffee shop or something like that wants to become a DAO, or go through QAC, like do you think that's a good idea if it's like not digital only business? And I think this is like just this.
I would say there's a few levels of newness, right? So just the DAO, the basic DAO we've seen over the past several years is like, yeah, it's complex, like it's not something you enter into lightly. And anyone who thought so and they tried over the past few years, they learned the hard way, right? Hence, this is why we're bullish on How to DAO, training business professionals to add tokenization and DAO primitives to their toolbox of skills. Applying those same ideas to traditional software products, that is like another level of how does a token play into new software service type things. I would say it's a whole nother level to say, how does this play into a brick and mortar? To be perfectly frank, I have no idea. I don't know. But what's the play there? How does it work? It's pretty advanced. And the thing is, though, is, if you want to find somebody to tell you, yeah, totally, here's how to do it, like you'll probably find 100 people. But also like 100 people will drive you right into the ditch, And so like it's not something to take lightly. And ultimately it comes down to the experience of the participants, and people don't want to waste their time on some low value type stuff. And so, it's about maybe focusing more on like a participatory user experience. And so what do people want to do? Like, and then maybe kind of hide the tokenization behind that or introduce it later. But it's all about like incremental. Try something small. Does it Does it land? Does it work? Do people like it? Is this a fun experience? Do people get to vote on like what live music is there? And to start with the people who want something and like it and enjoy it, and then the technology comes later and the implementation on that. But if you start the other side, usually doesn't work out.
I think there is one really successful brick and mortar DAO that I can think of though, and that's ETH Denver. ETH Denver has really killed it. Every single person who goes there, they get a free ticket and they get a spork, and they become a member of that DAO and a legal member of a Colorado co-op, and they even get a portion of the profits from the conference. They have a chance to vote on things, and there's a lot of it's really interesting. And there's a lot of ways to do it without going full on Arbitrum DAO forum posts, like let's vote on these things. Like it can be a little intense to do a DAO in completion, like how we imagine it today. I think like what Justice is saying, starting small, thinking of it as a loyalty program with feedback, maybe just to start, and getting the people like excited about it. And I think now we're in a different place than we have been in the past, decade of DAOs. We're actually in a place where with Privy and Unicorn.eth and Magic Link and all these account abstraction tools, you can actually give people a Web2 experience without scaring the hell out of them. About what is this pop up? What am I signing? So there's a lot of opportunity to do DAOs now differently. It's really about making sure that you have a really good product first, and that you don't get distracted, because that's probably the biggest downfall of DAOs is that people DAO too early, and it's a lot of work to manage a community and manage a token as a second product while your first product isn't even working. So I think for brick and mortar businesses, if they're really successful, they're gonna find some success in starting to get some feedback from people and giving tokens. Loyalty programs have been here for a long time. It's only an extra dimension to make that like a read write kind of system. It's just one more dimension. And if you start doing that incrementally, it would be interesting to see how far they go.
I want to add to this a little bit before you turn your microphone phone back on, Pankar. Um, when I first got involved, or when I was first inspired by originally blockchains, of course, right? Just the philosophy of how this can change our future, our culture, society, economy, sociology, everything, right? Ecology. One of the ideas was capital formation for small mom and pop businesses, right? This was like one of those pipe dreams. It's like, oh, Joe's coffee shop, is it going to have to go take out a loan? There'll be like shared ownership. And we didn't quite realize that yet, but I realized that was one of the things that really sparked imagination about how blockchain can support small businesses, and everyone in the neighborhood, rather than the coffee shop shutting down when the Starbucks open across the street. It's like everyone in the neighborhood can buy part of the business, right, through membership and their token economy. And this was around the same time that the DAOs became a thing, and then didn't become a thing, or unbecame a thing. But with Griff is very very knowledgeable about, as he participated firsthand in the rise and the fall of the DAO, the original the DAO. And so this idea is still very attractive, right? This idea that capital formation a DAO is a great structure for capital formation for small mom and pop businesses. And there's two other examples that come to mind. One is one of the projects in our cohort is called Citizen Wallet, and they are very commons focused, very citizen focused, very municipality first. And they are based in Brussels, I believe. They have a co-working space there called Commons Hub. And you can, you become a supporter, and you have a monthly membership and sort of become a member of this organization. And what it affords you is like rights to the co-working spaces and conference rooms and a lot of stuff like that, which is, this tie-in between crypto and brick and mortar. And then traditional dream factories, like a farm, co-farming space here in Portugal, and they're also experimenting with like you buy the tokens and then you become a member of this community or this DAO. So I think that there's some really good examples. There's been initiatives that have made strides, and sort of you experiment and you see what works, and then other people take the learnings and experiment in another way and build new things. I'm very bullish on the possibility of DAOs being instrumental to how communities organize and are able to use their spending power collaboratively.
Not even like say what we are doing as how to DAO. I know, Griff, you mentioned read write. There was like a author from the same publisher. He wrote read write on, and we also published a book about crypto, which is called How to DAO, and we are trying to empower businesses, also like moms and pops shops, like small businesses. I'm coming from small business. That's why I'm in crypto. Like, the capital formation, the things you can do if you are empowered by other people. Like, that's what I like. I don't like corporations. I don't like when, one corporation owns everything and there is couple shareholders basically extracting all the values. That's not why I'm here. I'm here so we have more distribution of the capital. Every entrepreneur, everyone with the dream has a chance to do it. And how we are supporting it, I already mentioned the book. So if you are new to DAOs, want to get inspired, want to like really think like what DAOs can be about, like buy the book, read the book. Uh, that will help. And then, we also do courses. So we just ran our second cohort where we actually created a DAO. So during the course, 6 weeks course, the participants vote on the idea which they feel like has the most intersection between them. And then that idea gets funded uh, through us. And they are basically creating like a DAO with their own token, get $1,600 and start building it with our guidance. And after the course ends, people can decide, do I want to still be part of the DAO and change the world, or that was enough, I want to work on my own project and just like rage quit, something like that. But it was super cool because actually this DAOs, connected community DAOs, it's still existing, and they are trying to fund public goods. They are trying to help communities around San Francisco, but also around the world. So like we are super excited to launch cohort 3, which will be starting in mid-June. And then we also do DAO incubation. So if you have your own idea, we'll help incubate it. And that's all empowered by the community. So now with QAG we have the How to DAO token, which is a kind of a membership token. So you get access to basically the whole ecosystem, and we can help you to launch your own project. Or maybe you will become a teacher and you help launch the projects. It's all about the cooperation. And that's another thing which I wanted to mention. So that's How to DAO, and we support the businesses. But like you mentioned also like the Starbucks versus the coffee shops. Like here in Switzerland, the interesting thing is they have kind of like brands like Starbucks. Like they have like this, Coop is the grocery store. It's a huge company, but that's all actually cooperatives. So they are actually big brands like startups, like Starbucks. Sorry, too long. Starbucks, but they are actually owned by the people in that country, which is, I think, a super cool concept. That like, they are not just like one corporation have couple owners, but they are actually, co-op owned by the employees, owned by some other people around, like more stakeholders. So I think there is some inspiration we can take also from there. And we have the last minute, so I will give everyone 15 seconds just to say a one sentence about your project, and then we need to wrap up. So let's start with Ellie.
Well, if you're interested in AI generated content, experience firsthand at tothemoon.live. You can ping us after you watch the content, share some feedback, but hope you enjoy the chaos AI creates. Thank you, everyone.
Derek.
Hey, yeah, if you're interested in easy, simple security, getting people involved in crypto in a simple, safe way that you don't have to worry about, don't have to stress about, check out Gridlock.
Mango.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. It's been a pleasure to be here. We're at Web3Packs on Twitter and all the rest. Yeah, really, it's a pleasure to hear all your perspectives and to build the future of blockchain together.
Thanks, Mango. Andre.
Melodex is a VIP pass to the secret world of music industry. Thanks Spotify meets Nasdaq.
Okay, awesome. And Tam, do you want to wrap it up for QAC?
Yes, early access to early stage projects isn't a privilege, it's a protocol. qac.giveth.io.
Awesome. So thanks everyone for joining. We are right on time. Here is Switzerland. There is another session starting about network states, but this was fun. So thank you and good luck in your QA round.
Toodaloo.